everyone, and welcome along to York for our QIPCO British Champions Series preview.
The Ebor Festival is one of the highlights of the summer, and it features 4 races on the British Champions Series.
The first race is a real cracker. It's the Juddmonte International, and in recent years it's given us some wonderful memories here on the Knavesmire, notably the mighty Frankel, who was imperious at his first try over a mile and a quarter. And this year's race promises more of the same.
And they're off and racing. Flincher for Andre Fabre and Maxime Guillon. Ambivalent with Cirrus de Zegler nosing to the front. Flincher continues to stay on, but it's Cirrus de Zegler who leads, edging back in towards the rail from Flincher as they enter the final furlong. Cirrus de Zegler by over a length. Flincher in second place, and it is Cirrus de Zegler, this wonderful globetrotter, who will win his 6th Group 1. They race now down with a furlong to go. It's Australia who is out in front. Kingston Hill in second place, and it is Australia forging clear by a length or so. Kingston Hill is trying to rally. It was written in the stars, a day of destiny, as Australia follows in her parents' footsteps and wins an Epsom Classic.
They head down towards the last furlong. The Fugue in second place. Trev is unable to pick up back in 3rd position. She's trying hard though. Mukadram behind those. It's the Fugue showing in front. She's 2 lengths out as she races towards the line. Trev and Magician 2nd and 3rd places. But today it's the day of the Fugue, and she's won the Prince of Wales Stakes by 2.
Mukadram has to hold on for 1 more furlong. In second is Trading Leather, still with 2.5 lengths to find. Somewhat running huge on the inside in 3rd. Kingston Hill has taken 4th, but racing towards the line, it is Mukadram and Paul Hannigan, and Mukadram wins the Coral Eclipse.
Telescope Mukadram digging in, but Tagruda on the outside for the fairer sex. Sweeps through the lead, and Tagruda remains unbeaten. And the sporting nature of the connection are rewarded with a massive prize. The King George to Tagruda.
Some of the stars from this year's middle distance division, and a number of them will be lining up again in the Juddmonte internationally, most notably Mukadram, who won the Coral Eclipse, and Australia, who won this year's Derby. He's got to be the leading contender.
Yeah, he's a really likeable horse. He's had a massive reputation throughout his career, and he backed it up with what was an imperious display at Epsom in the Derby, the middle distance highlight race for 3-year-olds. It's going to be tough for him. You mentioned Mukadram. Also in the news, in the build-up to the meeting, it was announced that Telescope is likely to take his chance. He's had a fantastic season. He was brilliant at Royal Ascot. He was just touched off behind the very talented 3-year-old filly Tagruda in the King George at Ascot. So he comes here at a track he likes with live claims as well. The International is always a fascinating race. It's an opportunity for the 3-year-old middle distance horses like the King George to take on the elder horses, and that's what we're faced with again. Australia taking on the likes of Telescope and Mukadram and a few else in there as well. It promises to be a fantastic race. For me, I'd side with Telescope actually. I think he's a very talented horse, and like a lot of Sir Michael Stouts, he's improving with every run. I don't think there's any shame in being beaten behind Tagruda, so for me it's going to be Telescope, but it promises to be a brilliant race.
Well, it was won, of course, last year by declaration of war for the O'Brien team, and I believe that he's going to do it again this year with Australia. But let's not forget also we've got the French Derby winner in the Grey Gatsby, and let's hear the thoughts of his trainer, Kevin Ryan.
Kevin, the Grey Gatsby didn't have the greatest experience in Longchamp the last day. Have you been pleased with him since?
Yeah, he came out of the race really well. You know, Ryan looked after him. He just didn't handle the ground. He got very fresh, very quick, and we've had a nice prep and nice run up to York with him.
Did your gut feeling in France tell you that that soft ground would catch him out? Obviously, that was his first run as well, over a mile and a half. The distance really never came into the equation, it didn't seem.
No, you know, we knew we were in trouble. You know, it was bottomless ground, and if he'd been in this country, he wouldn't have run. But I do feel that he would have got the mile and a half on good, even good to soft ground.
Yeah. I mean, he's already given you 2 big days, obviously in the French Derby and in the Dante, and now it's back to York for the Juddmonte International, which, you know, has always been top of the pops for you, really, top of his agenda. Do you feel that he'll be capable of taking on the old horses there, Kevin, and really holding his own?
I do. You know, he's maturing all the time, and you know, he's improving all the time, and you know, we're very happy with him. And listen, this is, when you're at this level, you have to go on and take all the horses on.
And having been at York before and done it on the track over that distance as well, has surely got to stand him in good stead.
Yeah, you know, he's got great form at York, as you know. You know, he's formed there as a 2-year-old, and obviously winning the Dante, and you know, it's a lovely galloping track, and we're really looking forward to running him.
I mean, we've seen him out this morning. He looks in great order, and you know what strikes you about him is he just seems to have such a superb temperament.
Yeah, he's so laid back, and you know, that's his great asset. And you know, he's really starting to learn how to race now. Obviously running in bigger fields, and he's starting to mature that way. He's grown up mentally as well. So no, we're very happy with him.
So Thursday of the Ebor Festival features the Group 1 Yorkshire Oaks, and this is the final race in the Fillies and Mares division before Champions Day in late October. And let's see who's been dominating this division so far this season.
And they're off and racing. Ritzina now under pressure, Manley being pressed by Miss France, Euro Charlene and Itimal as they run down into the dip, then Lightning Thunder. Miss France and Itimal over on the far side of the 2 who forge on in the Guineas. The blue jacket of Itimal over on the far side, Miss France. Lightning Thunder finishing off strongly on the near side. Miss France just last out. And they're off and racing. It is Tagruda who's moved through the lead. Tarfasha, Volume in, Schiller running a massive race, trying to thread the needle. Tagruda it is who leads with over a furlong to go by a couple of lengths from Volume. Tarfasha in, Schiller out of luck. Itimal stays on, but this at the moment is a 1 filly race, and that 1 filly is Tagruda, unbeaten, and Tagruda makes it 3 out of 3.
On the far side, Euro Charlene is getting a seam through in behind these. My Titiana at the 1 pace, and it's Ritzina who strikes on deep inside the last furlong. Euro Charlene finally gets the gap up the inner left, talking Paris flying down the outside, but Ritzina in front wins the coronation for Clive Britton.
And it's Integral who moves through the lead. It's Integral leading by a couple of lengths from in 2nd place. Ritzina, Peaceburg running a mighty race in 3rd. Up the hill far home, Integral still leads by a couple of lengths inside the final 150 yards. Ritzina in 2nd. It's a great day for Ryan Moore, and Integral will win again at Group 1 level.
Heading down towards the last furlong, Nanin in front, bidding to be the first French-trained winner of the Nassau. Sultanina is trying to retain it for John Gosden. These two battling it out as they race up towards the line. Sultanina and William Buick coming home the strongest. Sultanina gives John Gosden a hat-trick of wins in the Markle Insurance Nassau.
Some wonderful fillies on show there, and one trainer has dominated that division throughout the course of 2014, and that man is trainer John Gosden, who is the man responsible for the career of the mighty Tagruda, who has lit up the fillies division this year and lit up British racing as well, for that matter, because she took on the boys last time out and she was victorious at Ascot in the King George. Ali, she has been a really special horse to follow throughout the course of this year.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it there, the fact that she won the Oaks by a distance. She was fantastic that day at Epsom, but then she went to Ascot and took on not just the boys, she took on the older horses as well and won that, dominated the race. So it just shows how special she is, not just in this fillies and mares divisions, but what a special horse she's been so far this season.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Ali. Tagruda is a real star, but there'll be plenty of horses that come here to York on the Knavesmire that will try and knock her off her perch.
Down towards the last furlong and a half they come. Secret Gesture noses into a narrow lead. Ambivalent fights back, then the Lark. O'Delith is staying on, closing them down. Ambivalent fighting back, oh so gamely. Rests back the advantage close home and begins to draw on. Runner-up 12 months ago, she'll go one better, and Ambivalent wins the Middleton with Secret Gesture home in second.
As Volume is pressed now by Tagruda in the striped cap, Tarfasha in the white sheepskin noseband, but it is Tagruda who's moved through the lead. Tarfasha, Volume in Chiller running a massive race, trying to thread the needle. Tagruda it is who leads with over a furlong to go by a couple of lengths from Volume. Tarfasha in Chiller out of luck. Itimal stays on, but this at the moment is a one filly race, and that one filly is Tagruda, unbeaten, and Tagruda makes it 3 out of 3 and wins the Investec Oaks. Tagruda, the 3-year-old filly, is trying to throw down a challenge as well. Telescope, Bookadrum digging in, but Tagruda on the outside for the fairer sex, sweeps through the lead, and Tagruda remains unbeaten. And the sporting nature of the connections are rewarded with a massive prize. The King George to Tagruda.
Heading down towards the last furlong, Nanin in front, bidding to be the first French-trained winner of the Nassau. Sultanina is trying to retain it for John Gosden. These two battling it out as they race up towards the line. Sultanina and William Buick coming home the strongest. Sultanina gives John Gosden a hat-trick of wins in the Markle Insurance Nassau.
On the Friday, the jockeys will be making their way out of this weighing room and getting ready for the Group 1 Coolmore Nunthorpe. It's going to be fast and furious.
It is, of course, part of the sprint division, so let's take a look at the story so far.
Hot Streak out in the centre, running a bit of a solo, is a couple of lengths clear. Pearl Secret chasing them with Justice Day, Justinio, Kingsgate Native and Mirza. Hot Streak leads a Qatar 1-2 at present. Pearl Secret is chasing and getting a bit closer. Hot Streak, Pearl Secret though, bearing down on him. Hot Streak, Murphy lays down the law, and Hot Streak wins the Temple. As they move on down towards the last furlong and a half. Pretty well grouped up. Jack Dexter joined and passed by Hot Streak, who now moves on into the lead. Being chased by SK Love R2. Jack Dexter, Soul Power, beginning to fly home on the far side. Hot Streak, Stepper Point battling back to him. Medician Man thundering home. Soul Power on the far side, getting to them. And repeat the dose for Soul Power, who wins the King's Stand against.
And it's a stare, the Yellow Jacket to Slade Power and then Gordon Lord Byron. Near side Music Master has mastered Due Diligence. Tropics down the centre with a chance. Slade Power now comes through to try and take it up. Goes on to a stare in second. Music Master, Due Diligence, the near side. Tropics behind those. Al Jamahia's coming through as well. Racing towards the line though. Slade Power in front. Due Diligence trying to get to him. It's Slade Power with a diminishing margin. He wins. He hampers Due Diligence a little bit late on. Al Jamahiya goes past with him for second.
Wide across the course, and Nuso Canarius pressed by Slade Power, Tropics and Hot Streak on the far side. Near side, Cougar Mountain running a mighty race with Undrafted. Slade Power far side with Tropics, Nuso Canarius. Then behind these, Undrafted Gregorian coming home well, but out in front it is Slade Power on the run to the line, and it is Slade Power who prevailed the Darley July Cup.
It's been a huge season already for trainer David Griffiths, whose horse Take Cover is hoping to win his first Group 1 in the Coolmore Nunthorpe. We sent the cameras down and chatted to David ahead of his big task.
Routine stuff this morning, David. He looks in great order. How happy have you been since Goodwood?
Yeah, he's fine since Goodwood, touch wood. He's come out of it good. He had a couple of quiet days. And then back to basically what you just saw this morning. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, fresh and well and bouncing. Like I say, he kind of tells us when he's fine, you know, he's bucking and kicking and pulling, which is a good thing. If he wasn't, you'd be a bit worried. But no, like I say, touch wood, he's in good form and hopefully all systems go. It sounds a bit, you know, you can't say we always thought he was a Group 1 horse, but we always thought he was very good. Yes. And we always thought he was up to holding his own in group company. Like I said, the King's Stand might have been a little bit for his first time out of the year, but there's off his mark, he was off. In the handicap, he'd be carrying 10 stone or top weight. So we decided to start off there, and yeah, like you say, he's gone from there and he's won his next two.
When you say, you know, we always thought he was, you know, group horse in the making, was that on the work he was doing last year, times he was clocking, that type of thing?
Yeah, he was phenomenally quick. You know, we used the Equinity heart monitors, and he was just clocking phenomenal times.
Yes.
You know, it was off his times. You would think he was arguably a group horse. You know?
Yes, yes. And I mean, Goodwood last year, he got beaten that, didn't he? It was just agonising, really. And he ended up, he won a good handicap at York at the end of the year, and I would imagine that sort of, well, you wouldn't have lost any faith in him, but it restored sort of the whole sort of ethos in the horse, really. Yeah,
and I think it taught us as well, when Johnny Mercer rode him at Doncaster, he said never run him on this ground again. You know, I said it was more, even though he won on heavy 2 years ago when we on his first run for us, Johnny said don't run him on this again. He said because he just doesn't like it. It was more sticky than soft, but over the course of sort of 2 years, we've actually figured out that he wants good or quicker ground ideally, and he wants to be ridden sort of jump and go, you know.
And I mean, having a horse of his calibre now and going to the Ebor Festival with a big chance in a huge race as well, how much has that helped your whole concern here? Because yourself and Sophie have worked very hard to build this up in the last sort of 4 years, and to have a horse like that to sort of take you to Saturday races and big races and group races must be huge.
Massive, yeah. It's half a once in a lifetime kind of thing, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, or it's a dream anyway. You don't expect to have a horse this good, especially it's only, like you say, our 4th year, and yeah, for the yard, for everyone's sort of on cloud 9 at the minute, you know. Obviously looking forward to next week.
Kevin Hotstreak and Astaire are both bound for the Coolmore Nunthorpe. Where do you feel that pair are at the moment now?
Well, you know, at Newmarket, I mean, the ground was horrible ground. It was very sort of sticky, dead ground. So, you know, neither horse handled that ground. So I'm hoping that ground at York is going to be really nice, good ground. Both horses are in fantastic form. You know, and I think if we get nice ground, I think you'll see the best of both of them.
I mean, we'll just deal with them one by one. Astaire obviously won the Jim Crack there 12 months ago. You know, he set off back in the Duke of York at the start of this season and ran such a cracking race behind Marek. At that stage, Kevin, were you thinking that, you know, the sky could be the limit for him?
Yeah, he's, you know, his next couple of runs, and he has had valid excuses, really. But the interesting thing, when he ran the Duke of York, he was eager half of him and said, I'd love to ride this horse over 5 furlongs. And that never even entered my mind. So I thought, well, if we're going to try it, we'll try it at York. So it'll be interesting to see how he does cope with the 5 furlongs.
Hotstreak was so good in the Temple Stakes, and then he ran an absolute blinder as well at Royal Ascot. What did you make of him as well at Newmarket? Was it simply the ground? Simply the ground.
He got, you know, he goes in soft ground, but he goes in loose soft ground, and that was dead ground, and he just got stuck in it. And he was just flicking his head up and down the stalls, and the stalls open. He got left, and you know, you get left in a competitive race like that. You know, he had to make his ground up quickly, halfway, and everything just went wrong, really. You know, I have the utmost faith in this horse. He's a top-class horse, and you know, he's in great form going into York, and I think you'll see a different horse there.
And obviously he won the Rosy Stakes there last year as well, and just watching him out as well, and you couldn't believe that he was this explosive sprinter, because he wanders around, not a care in the world.
No, he's got some attitude for a sprinter. He's just a real kind horse, and he's such a simple horse to train, and he's the same at the races, but once he gets saddled up and he gets into the parade ring, then he sort of comes alive, and he knows what he's there for.
Well, it's been a fabulous year for Irish trainer Edward Lynham in this year's sprint division, but the Nunthorpe will not disappoint. It is the shortest possible distance of 5 furlongs. We can see them flying down that finish line here at York.
Yeah, potentially it's going to be a fantastic race in 2014, because we could have runners from France, from Ireland, from England, so fingers crossed they all take their chance, because if they do, it's going to be a great race. And you can throw into the mix as well the 2-year-olds. Only a small handful of horses have been able to win it as a 2-year-old, most recently Kingsgate Native, and there's a couple of really talented 2-year-olds who might take their chance. All in all, it promises to be a belter.
Well, lots to look forward to. Let's look at some of the other leading contenders in the Nunthorpe.
As they move on down towards the last furlong and a half. Pretty well grouped up. Jack Dexter joined and passed by Hot Streak, who now moves on into the lead. Being chased by SK Love Artuk. Jack Dexter, Soul Power, going to fly home on the far side. Hot Streak, Stepper Point battling back to him. Medician Man thundering home. Soul Power on the far side, getting to them. And repeat the dose for Soul Power, who wins the King's Stand against.
SK Love with the lead from here up the far side. Music Master trying to get their near side. Then came That Is the Spirit in the Deer. Here up the far side from SK Love and Music Master near side. They dive for the line, Music Master. Anthem Alexander to take on Little Miss Blakeney. Newsletter is also staying on. Anthem Alexander tackled by Newsletter and Tiggy Wiggy running on gamely. Spanish Pipe Dream in fourth and Little Miss Blakeney. Anthem Alexander with Tiggy Wiggy and Newsletter trying to rally, but it's Anthem Alexander that holds Tiggy Wiggy.
By himself on the right is Stepper Point as Caspian Prince and the red jacket of Take Cover, the leaders down the centre. Demora behind those. Hey Tude on the extreme left trying to get into contention as Take Cover leads. Here's G-Force in the light blue coming strongly. Stepper Point on the extreme right is still up with a chance as well. Movie Star with the white sleeves trying to get through to win it again as they race up towards the line now. And it's Take Cover in front. Extortionist trying to join it, but Take Cover wins to Extortionist Movie Star.
Next up, it's a chance for the stayers to get their moment in the sun here at York. It's the Lonsdale Cup.
This is the 4th race in this division. Let's take a look at the stories so far this season.
They're off. Cuban Eater over on the far side, followed through by Camborne and Coyote. Down to the last furlong they come. Gospel Choir finds daylight. Tac de Watra also running on. Gospel Choir into the lead, edging off a true line. Here's Tac de Watra. Tiger Cliff with a thrust. Gospel Choir inching home from Tac de Watra. Gospel Choir, Moore hits the high notes, and Gospel Choir wins the Yorkshire Cup from Tac de Watra.
Estimate is coming there with the noseband. She's in with a great chance. And now leading light on the outside. They come to the last furlong. Estimate leading light. Brown Panther with them. Miss United is next. 4 in with a chance. They drive towards the line. Leading light down the centre is in front. Estimate is trying to fight back at him as they race towards the line. Leading light though is 1.
Cavalryman takes over from Brown Panther. Azima and Angel Gabriel. Cavalryman shifting over to the rail. Azima pursues his stable companion. Back in 3rd, Brown Panther. Last year's winner sees the crown slip from his grasp. Azima second last year. He's trying to run down Cavalryman, but Cavalryman still has the lead. Azima edging closer, but not fast enough. Cavalryman.
So potentially, Ali, we're going to get a case that we've had throughout the course of the season where the same names take each other on in this division.
Yeah, we saw there Cavalryman winning the Goodwood Cup. Hopefully he'll line up along with Azima, who won this race 12 months ago. And we're hoping to see Estimate, of course, the heroine from Royal Ascot last year, owned by the Queen. And let's hope she appears here at York in the Lonsdale Cup. So it should be a cracker and always a favourite, these long distance races.
Yeah, Estimate will be hoping to get her season back on track if she lines up. Cavalryman will be hoping to continue what's been a fine season. They're just a couple of names that are hoping to win the Lonsdale Cup in 2014. Here's a look at the contenders.
Azima on the far side, near side is Simonon, and Azima for the first time strikes the front, approaching the final furlong, leads narrowly, but Simonon is nothing if not game and begins to charge back at Azima. Simonon the near side battling back, Azima the far side, to the line they go, and Azima had it by a head.
Down to the last furlong they come. Gospel Choir finds daylight. Tac de Watra also running on. Gospel Choir into the lead, edging off a true line. Here's Tac de Watra. Tiger Cliff with a thrust. Gospel Choir inching home from Tac de Watra. Gospel Choir, Moore hits the high notes, and Gospel Choir wins the Yorkshire Cup.
Cavalryman shifting over to the rail. Azima pursues his stable companion back in third. Brown Panther, last year's winner, sees the crown slip from his grasp. Azima second last year. He's trying to run down Cavalryman, but Cavalryman still has the lead. Azima edging closer, but not fast enough. Cavalryman.
So that's it for our look ahead to the 4 QIPCO British Champions Series races coming your way from here at York.
And the series is building towards the finale at Ascot Racecourse at the end of October, where we hope to see many of the stars of this year's series turn out.
So much to look forward to before the season is up with the QIPCO British Champions Series. We hope you can join us for 4 great days racing from here at York. But from me, Ollie Bell, and Ali Rowell, for now, it's goodbye.